It's one thing to be very unique and very cool and quaint, and wow, this business has this one little thing. But I'm going to show you how to make a business invincible, untouchable to your competition. And this week I had to do this with the product here in St. Louis. It's called gooey butter cake. I don't know if you can see that or not. Gooey butter cake here in St. Louis, you cannot swing a dead cat without hitting 5 places that sells gooey butter cake. In fact, I had to go to 2 stores last night to buy that because the first store was out. It's very popular. I'm not sure what's in it. It's gooey. There's butter. There's powdered sugar on the top. I'm not sure what it is. I don't like it because, frankly, I call it diabetes in a box. But that's just me. But people here in St. Louis go crazy over this stuff. Now, this week, I had to create a commercial for a business that sells a gooey butter cake milkshake. And when I said that to people around here in St. Louis, they they lost their minds. I mean, they popped up like gophers out of a hole. A gooey butter cake, what? What? Now, if you've heard my I've been on my other webinars where I talked about selling the impossible. This is a product that in their mind is impossible because it hasn't existed. If you have something that people don't know exists, show them. Explain to them that it is real and you can actually have this product. Okay? So, gooey butter cake. Now, the place that makes this gooey butter cake milkshake is in a city called St. Charles. It's about 25 miles from downtown St. Louis. So, it is not a close drive by any means. And there's only one location. But when you say gooey butter cake milkshake and you sell the impossible, people will drive for it to go get it because it is so unique. Or they'll say, the next time I'm in St. Charles, I am definitely going and getting this gooey butter cake milkshake. So the business is, it's called the Old Time Soda Fountain. And basically, it's like stepping into a time machine. Very authentic 1950s stuff. They make their malts, their shakes, everything on equipment from the 1920s to the 1950s. So in their commercial, you don't have to talk about authenticity because that's not the big selling point. Their biggest seller is the gooey butter cake milkshake. So it seems like it's a local delicacy, and it's certainly a local treat because I had not heard of it. I don't live anywhere near St. Charles. So you talk about the gooey butter cake milkshake. What I knew I could do is because they had something so unique, I knew that a couple of things. One, I knew I could make them untouchable if they're the only people doing it. And two, if they are the only people doing it, I want to block out their competition. So how do you do that? How did I do that? Well, first off, it was a 30-second radio commercial. And this 30-second commercial started off with me asking the salesperson, her name is Heather, and she actually had one of the gooey butter cake milkshakes. So I started off and I said, Heather, tell me about this gooey butter cake milkshake. And by me going up at the end of milkshake, I'm exposing the impossible. I'm setting up the impossible. Excuse me. She then went on to say, basically describe how this gooey butter cake milkshake is made. But the first line is, the first line she said, and I just sat her down in front of a microphone. She said, well, first off, they take a chunk of their secret recipe gooey butter cake. Now, the two key words are secret recipe. Because again, you can buy gooey butter cake so many places in this town. So when she said secret recipe gooey butter cake, I knew we had something. I knew we had something with the milkshake. She said, so they take a chunk of their secret recipe gooey butter cake, add in a scoop of homemade vanilla ice cream, mix it around, add a dollop of whipped cream on the top and a cherry. It's a really thick dessert that you can drink with a straw. And then I said, where do you get this gooey butter cake milkshake? And she said, Old Time Soda Fountain in St. Charles, gave the address. Couple of things accomplished with that commercial. First off, we sold the impossible. Secondly, I used anticipatory surprise, which you've heard me talk about in my seminars, also known as the movie trailer formula. Every movie trailer in the last 50 years uses this formula. Whether or not you want to see the movie or not is irrelevant. Here's the formula. Setup, 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 reveal. Don't give away the name of the business until the very end, because if you can get the audience to basically be drooling in their minds, oh my gosh, where do I get this? This sounds incredible. Okay, tell me. All right. If you can get them to that point, you win. So we talked about the gooey butter cake milkshake. Now, that's something that's very unique and very cool. However, it does not make them untouchable or invincible. I've got you here. I want to move you up here. Okay. The way that you do that, especially when you remember, the fundamental principle here is the unique selling proposition. What makes you different from your competition? So what I suggested is that they register the domains gooeybuttercakemilkshake.com, gooeybuttercakefloat.com, gooeybuttercakemalt.com. Every possible combination they can think of. I told them register those domains. Now, I'm not a copyright lawyer. I'm not a patent attorney. I'm not a trademark lawyer, none of that stuff. But it is my opinion that if you can take your unique selling proposition, especially if it's something really, really rare like that, and you register that domain, gooeybuttercakemilkshake.com, it basically blocks you out from all competition, because then you can at least apply for a copyright, a trademark name, all of those things, and prevent your competition from using Gooey Butter Cake Milkshake. It also basically lays very early on, you're claiming that part of the sandbox, and nobody else can come in and take it from you because you've claimed the domain. So if it were ever to go to court, you could at least say, well, yeah, they were calling themselves the Gooey Butter Cake Milkshake, but we registered these domains on this day. That will put you in I believe, a far better light to make you invincible, untouchable. Virtually every business should have something like that. If you don't, then you are just getting into a screaming and shouting match with your competition about price. Our prices are lower. Our prices are better. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of carpet dealers, a lot of car dealers do that. It's not a very pleasant place to be. Okay, so that's how you move from quaint to invincible, to untouchable. Okay? The other thing that I talked about in my emails that I want to share with you today, excuse me, is I talked about the Disney Corporation. In Disney, what they like to do in their Imagineering department, this is with the guys that come up with the new rides, the new roller coasters and slides and all that stuff, the new water features and everything. In the Imagineering department, they have a 3-word phrase painted up on their wall, very, very, very large, as soon as you walk in. And those 3 words are, and then what? Remember, don't think of marketing about you. It's not about you. It's about me. What experience am I going to have? So if you are selling a website, if you're advertising a website, here's what you should do. Write that down, and then what? And have it in front of you. Because if you're going to talk about advertising a website, we just had Valentine's Day here in the U.S. Big day for flowers and chocolate and candy and balloons and teddy bears and all that stuff. There were a number of websites, national companies, that ran ads for their website, just to go to their website. And it was, go to blank.com, go to the upper right-hand corner, enter the promo code such and such to get this deal. 12 roses and 6 strawberries for $39 or whatever the deal is. They told you how to do it. Don't let people guess when they show up to your website. So if I show up to the website and I say, oh yeah, I heard about that deal on the radio. Well, how do I get it? The harder you make it for them, the faster they will look somewhere else. So view it as the consumer. Use the website as the consumer. Okay, so if I go to whatever.com, and then what? Okay, so then I click up here. Oh, wait, the commercial told me to go to the upper right-hand corner, enter this code, and then what? Should it take you to checkout? Should there be some tripwires there, like Vistaprint, where it has, we see that you got the 12 roses and the 6 berries. Would you like a teddy bear? This is your chance to upsell them. but always be asking in your mind the question, and then what? Okay. Especially when it comes to advertising a website. So, those are your two lessons for today. If you'd like to ask me a question that I will answer on a future webinar, I'd love to hear from you. My email is tim@commercialprofessor.com. That's tim@commercialprofessor.com. Drop me a line and I will be more than happy to answer your questions.